Hey traders, welcome back to another market update. Today we are taking a look at the currency market to see what is going on, looking for technical analysis and key levels that might help us find some profitable trade setups. So EURUSD is going to be our first one here. You can see price is currently bouncing nicely off of this support zone that we talked about on the previous market update, and now looks like it wants to find temporary resistance here at this point. I really like this point as a resistance zone. You can see here, if we look left, we have structure here, and a previous rejection at this point. So to me, it seems we could have a pretty good chance for a little sell-off here, maybe even back down to test that recent structure that we just left. GBPUSD is our next one. You can see we just recently broke out of the range that we talked about on Monday's market update. You can see we had this market chopping back and forth in this range, but we did gain some momentum and push price through the top there on GBPUSD, and we didn't even see much of a retracement before a continuation to the upside as the pound gained and the dollar weakened. So pretty interesting stuff there. We could see the continuation of this trend overall. We have to back up really even to the daily chart to find next levels of potential resistance, which to me this level sticks out here right around the 1.3176 level, and then of course you have that long-term high here right around that 1.3371. Both of those are interesting resistance levels to consider going forward on GBPUSD. It looks like we do have the potential for a continuation of this bullish pattern that we've seen. Look like a nice little bull flag before the breakout here on the daily chart. USDJPY is our next one here. You can see price continuing to trend pretty nicely here. We kind of have this little pattern moving to the upside where we have this trend line holding, and for the most part still looking bullish, but not overwhelmingly fast moving to the upside. For the most part, we're just having a little chugging uptrend here on USDJPY. My expectation for this might be that we catch a little bit of a bounce here for the dollar yen off of this trend line, maybe even testing recent structure highs. That would make sense just for the trend continuation pattern that we do see here on this currency pair. WTI crude is our next one, still holding this range very nicely that we talked about on Monday. You can see price also oscillating back and forth, and we did get the continuation off of this low, which kind of just confirms that we could be headed back to this top level here. I think there's a pretty good chance we come back to test the top of that range. Same thing on Brent crude. You can see even cleaner here that we have this nice little upward channel, and price is looking like it's holding that zone very nicely, headed back towards the top of that range. Gold is our next one. You can see, and what I see here on gold is that it looks like we want to head back to the top of this channel here, where we have this kind of downward trend continuation, right? So we have the overall uptrend on gold. If we back up on the daily chart, you can see that. However, on the shorter, if we zoom in a little bit here, we have this downtrend in the meantime. And until this trend level gets broken, I think we still have the channel to the downside. Now, I think that if price does decide to break through this level, that we could be headed back to recent structure highs. You can see them here right around that level of 1553. Just in that general area, I think price could head back to that way if we get a break of that trend line. So something to consider there, but in the meantime, still traveling to the downside. USD Swiss is our next one, and you can see here we did hold this level very nicely, this little lower level of support. We can look left from our analysis on Monday, and you can see that we did hold that specific area, and it looks like we're catching a little bit of bounce on this particular pair. We could find some resistance at these minor levels here, but the big level to consider to me is right around that 1.0000 level, right around that 1 mark. And so it looks like we could catch a bounce in favor of this kind of choppy market environment that we have already seen for a while on dollar Swiss. Next up is New Zealand dollar, which broke out of a range here. You can see that our consolidation zone down here did get broken out. We had a lot of bullish momentum on New Zealand dollar that broke us through that level of resistance, and it looks like we have some room to potentially run here on New Zealand dollar. Now, one trend line to consider here is this one that has been supportive so far. If price pulls back to that level, might be something to consider if for a pullback entry, especially if it lines up nicely with this previous level of resistance. That might be a nice little trade to look for continuation plays. Guys, thanks so much. I hope you got something out of this video, and we'll see you next time.